Oh, it's so hard. Oh, my arm.
What is the word? I hate this so much.
That was a
This is a cup. This is a cup.
You're not supposed to be able to do this.
Fun. Oh my
That's
gosh.
why it's a problem, because you're not supposed to do it like that. Tom put this together. That's what I'm trying to tell
You put that together. You literally
No.
took-
And then you need to put all these back, mind you.
You can get this same game in a box that's the size of a hubcap, so you could put a big plastic stop sign in it. What would you rather
That's
have?
the plastic stop sign.
Vindicated.
What?
Vindicated.
Wow.
I don't know. I feel like that vindicated me.
I agree that looking back on it makes us all look petty and small.
Most people disagree.
All right.
Mostly Mike. He looks small.
This will not be a particularly
Really?
long video, folks. We're just going to be taking a look with the couple hundred of you who showed up out of sheer morbid curiosity.
Yes. Yeah.
What
At the
is
top
this?
100, a retrospective. I want to start by taking a look at the People's Choice. This is
do it.
the bulk. Chris said someone called the People's Choice the most boring list because it changes the least. But I think that's okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
But it
You
doth
know.
change. So I have this all on a spreadsheet here on the computer. We're going to bring this up here. Look at that. Numbers! Some of you just fell over and died.
Yes.
So over here you can see the 2025, and we started keeping track of this in 2021. Mm-hmm. Over here. So the first, 2011, you're right. Chris is he's going to correct all my errors.
It's going to be
called
a lot of
full-time
errors.
job.
So many errors.
The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort it by last year. From
Okay.
smallest to largest.
Done deal.
Okay.
So People's Choice. And we can slide down here a little bit, and you'll see some drops. Architects went down from 24 to 71. But we're going to look for ones that dropped out of the list completely.
Middle ear. Oof. Oof.
That's a big drop.
Race for
55
the
to
galaxy.
buy.
Well, first is Caverna. So Caverna went from 52 to 162.
Oof.
Why?
No one cares anymore.
It's out of print.
Okay, well, it didn't drop off completely. So it
Okay.
can't be no one cares.
Well, no, I mean, it did drop off completely.
No,
It said
I
100
mean it wasn't. If there's no number, that means I didn't gather enough votes.
I literally never see anyone playing this game. I just
Is
wonder
it-
if it was held out. People had it because of like nostalgia's sake. I mean, there's games on my list that have probably hung on a little longer than they should have because it's like, yeah, I want to get that played again, but it hasn't been 2 years, you know.
To be fair, I think there are a few designers out there where people jam on their newest designs.
Yeah.
And when they come out with the next one, they're like, ooh, I'll jam on that until a new one comes out. And I think Rosenberg, if not maybe quite that, toes the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People are like, Black Forest, let's go. I'm about Black Forest right now.
It's all about
Could
Black
that
Forest.
be it?
Yeah,
Is
it
that
could
a
be.
little bit of that?
I didn't see Black Forest on the list, but yeah, maybe. What about Nidavellir? This one I do see getting played.
Do you really?
I am surprised by this one.
Well, it's still 123 is incredibly high. That was the big drop. Maybe it was just super hot. What about
Parks.
This is the one that blew my mind. When I was going through the list,
Yeah.
I thought I had missed Parks. I was like, I'm gonna have
Right.
to go back and count everything. And then when I hit it at
15.
2:15, that's
then-
huge.
And
Now,
they're
they just
coming out
announced
with
the
the
new
second
version,
edition,
right?
right?
I know that's
That'll be in the
crazy.
news next week. Or did we
Yeah.
already do it?
I don't think we covered it.
No, so-
It's being advertised now, so it's
Yeah.
out there. There's a big banner on BGG.
Right. There's a second edition coming out,
Yeah. Yeah.
reworking it a little bit, adding all new artwork. Yeah.
It's a Wonderful World is out.
That one is less surprising to
Yeah.
me because I
That's
think
another one I
It's a
never
Wonderful
see
World was
played.
kind of a
I'm surprised that was in
can I say
there.
flash in the pan.
You can say it, Flash in the
All right.
Pan.
I'm surprised it was still in there, honestly.
Horrified. I think that's because of the last two editions have been production disappointments.
They're kind of doing that to themselves a little
Yeah.
bit. Seeing this one drop, in fact, it dropped out of my list. I had,
Oh, I didn't even realize it wasn't on your list.
yeah, I was horrified. American Monsters is the one I had on my list. It was
Yeah.
51 last year, and it dropped out.
Then we have, let's see, moving down.
Rising Sun is gone.
Rising Sun and King of Tokyo both fell out.
King of Tokyo surprises me.
Me too.
I agree because especially when you zoom over here and see that it was 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry? You're right. There you go, folks.
Yeah.
It was 2 over here. A little too. I'm not sure why that's too smaller than all the other numbers, but
Wow, people hate Magic now. That's interesting.
that's actually not as big of a drop off as
It's not, but I am surprised it's out of the top 100
Yeah.
because that's keeping
Well, it was
several
out
game
and came
scores.
back for a blip there, didn't it?
Which one?
It was 115, 127, 115, 113.
102.
Jumped onto
Yeah.
the list at 75 and is back out.
Yeah, I'm disappointed
Was
with
that Lord of the Rings?
Oh,
I wonder if a lot of people tried it because of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
That could be.
Lord of the Rings was Lord of the Rings last year. No, Lord of the Rings was last year.
Yeah. No, it was definitely 2023, right?
When did I
And
get
it
the
would have,
$1 million?
and it would have reflected. It would have reflected in 2024.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
I think so.
I'm disappointed that Deception dropped that low.
Is this out of print?
It could be. It was in my top 100. I don't have. I mean, I
Wait,
have
what
the
was
copy I had years ago.
It could be. It was in my top 100.
No, I'm saying that's why I'm kind of disappointed because this. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it may be. I have the same copy I had years ago. So
Now, if it comes back into print, will you jettison it from your top 100?
1,000%.
You keep saying that. I don't think.
Yeah, that's not mathy. But
I know. I love doing.
here's
that.
a big surprise also at Mike's top.
Yeah,
Isle of Cats had a huge drop.
it really did. Like double. It dropped more than 83 points. Yeah, I don't know. This is maybe one where it's just people aren't playing it as much.
Well, it
I
could
don't
be
know.
a polyomino effect because look,
That could be.
Planet Unknown also dropped really far.
Wow, that's
Is
right.
it saturation? Is that what it is?
Maybe.
There's
Like,
a lot of them
enough
out there.
polyomino kind of thing? Okay.
Planet Unknown was a darling for a while, and
It's
then
still, but you know what? This is one I saw getting played, and they just released. I think it's being delivered right now.
Oh.
The expansion for this, so
Okay.
maybe it'll come back.
okay.
Ticket to Ride Europe for a while was higher than Ticket to Ride, and well, not here, but on Board Game Geek it always was.
Trekking Through History tanked too, and that's a shame. That's a really solid game. It's not in my top 100
That
anymore.
really dropped. Man,
Yeah.
good night.
Yeah.
Now, small drop here, but notable to me was Frosthaven.
Yep.
Because last year Frosthaven debuted at 88, and I thought, I'm just going to keep
Going
moving
up.
on up.
It's going up.
Nope. It's dropped just like Western Legends and Unmatched. It's no longer in the top 100.
Mike, explain Hadrian's Wall dropping.
Well, that's a big drop. That's almost double.
more than
First of all, I'm kind of surprised it was that high because this is really a solo game to me. I mean, you can play it multi, but to me, I play Hadrian's Wall almost always solo. And maybe the novelty of the heavy 2-sheet, because that was really like one of the first heavy, more than one sheet flip and write games that were out there. I do think that's going to it's going to drop even further when the Anarchy comes out, which is the follow-up by the same designer. It's coming out later this year.
What's it called?
It's called the Anarchy. It's part of the Ancients history series, like Hadrian's Wall was.
Okay.
And so
And
we'll
Ezra
see.
Nehemiah.
It's same as Ezra and Nehemiah,
Got it.
Raiders of Scythia, and Skara Brae, which I played on the cruise, which is really good. Alert!
Targi and Sagrada dropped pretty dramatically too.
Yeah, Sagrada. I don't see people playing it as much. Do you think the legacy thing threw people off? Like they're like, okay, I'm enough. I'm tired.
Although
of this.
that went nowhere.
That's what I'm
fast.
saying.
I guess I'm wondering if, like, when these numbers drop, is it because no new people are discovering the game? Is it people cooling on the game,
Right.
or is it less that and more a lack of infusion of new discovering players?
That's possible.
Could be.
And if so, is it because it's out of print? Is it because it's no longer being necessarily pushed and advertised?
Right.
Like, I wonder where that number comes from. Maybe the same people are playing it. They still like it the same.
Yeah.
But there are new gamers to feed that number, and it obviously then slides down.
Can I ask why Telestrations is here? Because it looks like it was never in the top 100, or at least not in the last many, many years.
Well, because it was 116 last year.
Oh.
I'm still going down. Here's very few games disappeared completely. Endless Winter and Downforce did.
That's
Not
very
surprised
odd to
about
me.
Endless Winter, but I am about Downforce. And again, I'm
No,
not
I
saying
get
this to
it.
be a slight on you.
No, I get
think
it.
of those three that came out that
There's
same
no
Endless Winter.
question. No question.
But Downforce,
Yeah.
maybe Heat killed Downforce.
It could be, and also look at the one right below it that is
that's
now
true.
on the top
Thunder
100.
Road Vendetta went up.
I think that's the bigger competition if you want to consider the two. I think Heat is more of like a Eurogamers race game where, Downforce was more of a betting game really than a racing game, and I think people that were attracted to that were more attracted to Thunder Road.
Now, before we go to the R list, let's do another sort where I'm going to sort now by 2011, the first year. And let's see where the top 10 landed up. So 10 is Arkham Horror. Gone.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
Number 9 is Race for the Galaxy. That's at 42.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Ticket to Ride was 8 at 37.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico has dropped off tremendously, but I'm going to say it's going to come back into the top 100 the next year. Based
Strong
on that,
disagree.
No, based on that new
I know.
edition.
I still strongly disagree.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think that game has aged tremendously.
Pandemic has stayed pretty consistent. Went from 6 to 22.
That's insane. That's a lot of years
I
to
know.
hang on.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's probably the most consistent of these, except maybe Dominion. Katana's at 119, but that's still pretty high considering.
That's really
still
good.
impressive. Yeah, especially for a Dice Tower list, right, which has more hobby gamers.
Actually, maybe Seven Wonders is the most consistent. That's from 4 to 29.
As high as 2.
Power Grid is another one that's dropped a good chunk.
Yeah,
it's
but
just,
still, I mean,
For how heavy Power
for
Grid
how
is.
dry and mathy it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a complex game. There's
It
a lot
is.
of moving parts. It's a thinky game, mathy game.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
and then Agricola and Dominion.
Yeah.
So most of these, with the exception of Arkham Horror, are still somewhere in striking distance. Other ones that fell off completely: Twilight Imperium 3 because of 4.
Sure, that makes sense.
Thunderstone because of Thunderstone. Heroescape because it was out of print so long.
Well,
Will
Battlestar
it come
because
back
you
in
cannot
next year? We'll
find
find
it.
out. Huh?
Battlestar Galactica because you can't find it.
Right,
I agree. Dominant Species, kind of heavy, and there's a lot of heavy games like that.
right. Descent because of the new additions.
Citadels, now that's a weird one to me.
Yeah.
Citadels doesn't show up anywhere, Z, and this is a game that you had on your list, right?
I do. I don't know. I know it sells. I mean,
does.
it has sold. I don't know if it still sells. I know there was a little bit of edition confusion there around 2018. I want to
Different
say.
size boxes, the silver
Yeah, they came out with
line
they came out with 2 new editions at the same time.
Right.
Classic and like a nice spruced up one, and killed both with a new edition in the middle like a year later.
right. It was weird.
And they've been just nebulous. I think a little confusion there might have killed it. To be fair, the game has, like I was saying, sold millions and millions of copies. So
Bruno Faiduti, I think most of his revenue is from Citadel.
I
Still.
believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone's asking, I should mention, when I do the People's Choice, I go onto our webpage that Hilmar built, and he gets all these votes, and then I take those and I put them in a spreadsheet. I have to do it manually. There's not an easy way to pull them off, and I have to manually sometimes say, oh, Castle of Burgundy and Castle of Burgundy Deluxe are the same game. Like, someone voted for 1978 Cosmic Encounter. So I have to add a few things, and I then I have to look through the spreadsheet and find it, search and find it. If it's not there, add it, what have you. I would say I need to do 100, right? And I'm like, I'll keep going. Somewhere between 150 and 250, I get exhausted.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Sure,
that's why
sure.
some years it's longer. I think one year I went to 300 or something, but it's a lot of work to pull that info and put it in. And honestly, because we're not dealing with millions, we're dealing
Right.
with thousands of ratings. Once you get down to around 180, 190, the games sometimes are even tied, and I don't,
Sure.
it's the
not
data is
useful.
less
Right.
useful.
Yeah, it's not useful.
Yes, of course.
But I do like looking at it. I try to go down farther because, if a game's going to shoot up the next year, I can say, well, it was 1170 last year, and that's
I'm actually
more
surprised that
interesting.
Tigers and Euphrates is at 129 this year, after not being on the list at all for. the
Help me out
last
here. Where
meeting.
am I looking?
You were go down. It was on the screen we were on right there.
Yes, I don't know why.
I mean, I know Huang came out, which is basically Yellow and Yangtze, which is kind of Tigers and. I don't know. I think
You know
it's,
what I think it is?
What?
Raw got a reprint.
Yeah, maybe it's the
And several other several other games have been lately reprinted from Reiner Knizia. People
Yes.
buy Ra. Maybe Amun-Re to a lesser degree.
Yep.
Maybe
Through the
Zuvadis
Desert.
to a
Zuvadis.
lesser degree. And they
Yep.
go, oh, I like this guy. What
Right.
has he done?
What's his
Oh, this seems to be the consensus. This is the best one.
right?
Let me find somebody who
Right.
owns it. Let me play it.
It's been
Maybe
out of print
that's
for a
it.
while too. It's
Right.
just it's amazing to me that after not even being on there for several years, that it's at 129.
Yeah.
And then you can see how just these other games kind of appeared as time went by.
Yeah.
So that's people's choice. Over to me.
Tom, do me a quick favor.
Yes, sir.
Top of the ribbon, can you hit view and freeze first row? Freeze top row over on the right side. A little bit further, right there. Freeze top row. That way when you scroll down the years, they should still be visible.
You froze the wrong row.
It has to actually be
The first row.
the top row when I do that, right?
Yeah.
You
Did I accidentally shrink the top row for people?
Oh, you scrolled up to the top right now?
Yeah, I think the top row's frozen. I'll fix that later.
Hey, look at it.
So yeah, here.
Here, I'll do it. Freeze the top row. Yeah, sorry. I actually do that a lot, and I didn't do it here. Okay. So this is mine. Mine goes back to 2005, which is not on the screen here for you all to see, but I'll worry about that later. Right now, we'll just see 2024. And we'll take the data there, and we will sort just 2024 and go from smallest to largest. So same thing. Now, ours are going to be much more volatile. The biggest drop, Beyond the Sun, fell off my list, went to 106.
From 24.
That's
Is that the
pretty
biggest?
high.
Is that the highest that's gone? 24
No, it
Beyond the
was
Sun?
2015, the 2 years before that. You can see the 2 years right before that.
No, sorry. From last year to now, the highest, the highest that you
That
had
fell off
last
the
year
list?
that fell off.
Yes,
Is
24.
Yeah, my highest that fell off was 24. For you, it was 27 for me, and it was Empires of the North. And I think it's because I'm like, 51st State.
Yeah, the highest for me was 35, and that was Spirit Island.
Okay.
So
I don't even have a good reason for this. It just fell off the list when I put them in, and I was like, yeah, I'm not playing Beyond the Sun as much these days, so that maybe that's it.
and that was the Spirit Island thing for me. Is I'm not playing it now. You know what I mean? I really still admire the design, but I'm not in the group of Spirit Island gamers. You know what I mean? I just don't play it.
The one that I had a much more strong reason for was Chronicles of Crime. I know why this fell off the list because I think I'm done with it. Not in a bad way. I've played almost all the scenarios. I don't know that I'm going to go back. Yes, I know there's player-generated scenarios and yada, but I think not only am I done with it, Lucky Duck is done with it as far as I can tell. So
Gosh, don't think I realized you had innovation at 56 last year.
yeah, innovations. I played it with Chris, and I was like, "This game's amazing," and it really
okay.
is fun. And then I haven't really messed with it since.
Okay.
Innovation is a volatile game anyway, so it's just
it
going to
really
be.
is.
It's a very
If you look at my
chaotic game.
numbers, it's been all over the place.
Yeah, yeah.
Western Legends.
The same with the people that dropped off.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's nothing major. Again, you see the numbers are here. This is one that didn't come up, and that's Monumental.
Yeah.
And that's Monumental Duel is why that one fell off completely.
Yeah, I said that next year Monumental may be off the list completely. So
Lords of Hellas is another one that when I was starting to go through this, I was like,
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of done with this game. It was
Me
neat.
too.
It was big. Seventh Continent. Well, I put Seventh Citadels on my list. That's why.
Sure.
Ether Fields and Mansions of Madness 2. These are kind of games that I played.
Did you hear me talk about the hula hoop yet?
hula
That was in
hoop.
1954.
Me, I want a hula hoop.
Actually, you sang it in the wrong line.
Did I?
It's I still want
Oh.
a hula hoop.
I see. 25 or 6 to 4.
It's
Okay,
back. We're just singing.
it's back
and
for Quincy
waiting.
Slayer. Okay.
It happened after Tom froze the top row.
Oh, so
right,
we
so-
lost
Whoa.
some stuff.
Top row still frozen. All right, Chris, bring us back. I think we were just talking about ones that fell off the list completely, or some that fell pretty far. Oh, Castle Mad King Ludwig. Oh, wait. Sorry, I have it. I have to resort here again. There we go. So ones that fell off completely, we mentioned Western Legends. Wallenstein fell off. And, I should say this happened. I played Wallenstein. We did a catch-a-poos on it. We had a great time. Well, I had a great time.
I liked it. It was good to play again. To be fair, I like Shogun better. But, they're similar.
Still kind of the same game.
Yeah.
But I felt like, this game doesn't hold up as well as I thought, I guess was the thing. I still like it a lot. Still 112, 15 or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see what else here. Heat fell off a bit.
Heat fell off. Is this your list?
Yeah, this is mine. I know we talked about some of this already.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
Heat,
remember.
Monumental turns.
5 fell a bit. Bunny
Yeah.
Kingdom, this one kind of surprised me, and when I was done, I was like, well, I guess it's 123.
Yeah. Scoring.
Overpower, but that was Overpower directly fell off because Star Wars is my new CCG girlfriend.
Gotcha.
And goodbye, Overpower.
You're
We've had a
no-
great 30 years.
Your new darling.
Oh, my goodness. Poor
I'm old.
Overpower went over
When I
to the
start talking
dark
about games in
side.
30 years,
Yeah, I
I'm not
know.
loving that as much.
I
Like,
know.
I played in college.
That was a long time ago.
Anywho, yeah, Monumental fell off the list, but that's because Monumental Duel is somewhere floating around here, and that
Yeah.
replaced
Yeah.
that. Pulsar 2849 fell off, but that's only because of that's directly responsible from SETI, for sure.
And
Good,
it's barely,
finally.
It's barely on there anyway. It was
About
at
time that fell
99
off, to
last
be
year.
fair.
Oof.
And Lord's Alice is I'm just not playing that kind of game anymore.
Yep.
Mansion Madness 2, I think maybe same thing, right?
Right.
Someone recommends it. I'm like, man, it's a great experience. It's fantastic. But I will never choose to play it, so why would it be close, I think?
So Puerto Rico hasn't been in your top 100 in the last 3 years. Is it? You were mentioning about the People's Choice. Is it going to be in your top 100 next year? Because of
That's
the new-
interesting. I don't know. I still like it. You're right, though. But, man, I tell you what, I looked at that new edition. It's so good looking.
I'm sure it's
Is it kind of like a
fancy.
Castles of Burgundy style?
Yeah,
thing?
they put on a game found.
With the
last
ships are
year
all
somewhere.
resin and everything.
Oh,
and-
they look so
They go,
good.
yeah, they go insane with that stuff.
All right, so
All
now
right.
we are on Mike's,
all right.
who
And
has a better spreadsheet that I'm not looking at.
Yeah. I've got at least through 2001 on the spreadsheet.
Through 2001?
2021 on the spreadsheet.
Someone wants to combine Mike's spreadsheets, email me, and I'll give you his spreadsheet and mine, and
Yeah.
we'll combine them somehow.
So we already talked that my
will,
biggest
want
game that dropped off the list was Spirit Island, and that was at 35. The biggest, it's funny, the biggest rise and drop were both trick-taking games. The biggest drop was Cat in the Box that fell 47 places, and that's just because I'm playing a lot of other trick-taking games more
Actually,
than that.
I was surprised. We were keeping track of your trick-taking games, and there wasn't as many as I thought.
No, there's really not that many in my top 100. There's probably less. There's probably 5, maybe.
I think it was 4. But
4 or 5,
something
yeah.
like that.
I bet there's a whole bunch just outside the top 100, though.
The funny thing, though, is that no, honestly not, because they're almost a separate category. I pick the ones that I feel like that break through the kind of just the niche of trick taking and become something that I'm like feels like belongs with these other. Trick taking is something that I enjoy just as a mechanism, right? And I like the weird esoteric twists on it. I realize that's very niche stuff, right?
Sure.
Twinkle Starship had the highest rise at 40 points. I really love that trick taking game.
So, and I'm
Yeah.
I joke a lot about Knizia, but
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you think the same thing for Knizia? So, like you had 11, but
Yeah,
there's you like probably 80 Knizia games, probably. Somewhere
There
right
are
there.
a lot more Knizia games just outside my top 100. As a matter of fact, one of them dropped off, and that was last year I had Circus Flocati at 98.
Hallelujah.
It didn't make the list
Oh,
this year.
that's a cute game. Don't hate on Circus
Hallelujah.
Flocati.
I think-
Get rid of those creepy fleas.
well, no, you're right about that.
The
That's
fleas are great.
disgusting.
But I think the reason why that fell is that Botswana has risen
There
for
it
me
is.
in my estimation, and I think that I'm now where I used to introduce Circus Flocati to a lot of people. Now I'm introducing Botswana to a lot of people.
Nice.
So there's that. Other games that fell off, The Crew, just it did. Rescue Polar Bears, that was another one that I had up there because of a lot of like nostalgia for it. I think it's adorable, but I don't play it anymore. As a matter of fact, I don't even own it anymore.
That one let me down a couple times in a row, and it moved on for me as well.
Yeah, Blood Rage fell off. Master of Respect fell off. But again, these were all games at the back half of my list,
Sure.
So, yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that you see there.
Now, once someone helps me fix Mike and Z's, if someone's willing to do that, let me know. But
Mine is good.
well, you don't have 2020. You just said you had the 2021.
Oh, I have the 2021, I think.
But I still want them on the same document, just combining them. Then we'll share this document. We have a Dice Tower Facebook group called Dice Tower Stats that you can join, and people talk about this stuff. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens around now.
People, a couple of people have asked, or maybe the same person twice, about Wayfarers. That has fallen off for now. It may come back. I think it's because I was playing Inventors more. I was playing Scholars more. I don't know. It hasn't fallen. Which of those three is going to be my favorite?
Sure. We're going to go to Z real quick, and then the last thing we'll do is that. We'll let you guys ask us where was such and such a game. We'll tell you why that doesn't make the list.
Yes, because there's one that I realize I do this every year. That was a mistake. That 100% should have been in my top 100.
All right, well, hold that.
I dropped it off.
Hold that thought.
Yes.
Let's go to you, Z. Where have you failed?
All right, so my highest number that fell off was 27, and it was Empires of the North. I think I'm assuming you guys heard this. This is what's the original? Something Empires of the North. Imperial Settlers.
Right.
Horrible name. Imperial Settlers, Empires of the North fell off because I kind of don't think of it very much. I reach for 51st State. And 51st State came out with this amazing edition that had all the expansions in one box, so it kind of obliterated this a little bit. I'm not going for it. The next one was at 38 last year, Floriferous, which jumped onto the list very, very high. It's a little game. It's kind of fallen through the cracks. It's not hitting the table.
Right.
In fact, I think the last time I played it was probably at an event a year ago or something. You know what I mean? Near and Far was my 44. That fell off the list. Haven't been playing any of that. Carpe Diem fell off the list. Horrified, American Monsters, we talked about that. Fallout Shelter fell off my list.
I was surprised by you've been championing that one.
I do like it very, very much, yeah. And it's tricky because a lot of this is, maybe it shouldn't be, I don't know, but it is, have I been playing?
Yes.
At the end of the day, if I'm reaching for that game, I'm excited about it, that should translate to me liking it more.
I agree.
That's what it is.
I agree.
So if anybody's like, well, just because you didn't play it doesn't mean you like it less. Apparently it does, because I didn't reach for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
57 was Earth. And still, these are all
that's
fantastic
right.
games still. I'm just not playing them very much. 58 is a party game that I've had on my list forever. I mean, like, it's been in my top 10.
Faces?
No, it's Compatibility.
Oh, that's right.
And it
Tom's is
finally-
Faces.
I didn't realize this fell off
It
the list.
finally wasn't on the list this year, Tom. Not that I don't like it. I think it's amazing. But why even mention it? Can you even get this game? I don't know.
Yeah.
Mission Red Planet was 61.
Ooh.
Azul Sintra was 63. Somebody had asked the Bloody Inn. The Bloody Inn was not on my list. Yeah, it was 67 last year. One that hurts, and I probably should have put on my list at somewhere, is Stella Dixit.
Yeah.
Dixit Universe. That one was 68. There's a few others that are very justified falling off. Old West Empresario fell off. Snowtails fell off. Just one was barely scraping in last year, and it fell off. There's a few others in here, but yeah, it seems like it was a lot of Euro games or small things that fell through the cracks for me. And Euro games, when new ones come out, again, especially kind of from the same designer, you're like, well, latch on to this new one and play that and consume that. So,
All right, well, hit us back to the main screen here, Chris. If you have a question real quick before we end this video here about like where is a specific game. You know, like why did this game not make it? We thought you loved it. Mm-hmm. Maybe. Oh, and while we were waiting for those questions, what did you forget?
I forgot Life of the Amazonia.
Oh, okay.
That was number 60 last year, and it would definitely be in my top 100.
You had Wondrous Creatures on
I
there.
did, and Wondrous Creatures, I think I like slightly better, but it wouldn't have knocked Life of the Amazonia off the list completely. So I don't know why. I must have made a mistake in Pub Meeple.
I always do the list, and then I always compare it to last year's list. I make the list first so that I'm not influenced, but I look at last year's list just in case something slipped through. Then I grab those and stick them in.
Andrew wants to know how low. I'm assuming he's asking me, Oath, because neither of you would have.
No, it wouldn't have been
your
for
top
me.
100.
So awkward guests. I'll tell you why awkward guests has fallen off the list, because so many great deduction games exist right now. There's so many.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like? Well, I think it's for me. I really like it.
I never played it, but yeah.
I've never played it either.
I refuse to answer the Oath question now. Yeah, I've never played Awkward Guest. Distilled was never on my top 100.
I like Distilled a lot.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I think there's a good chance that the new one,
Luthier. Yeah.
Luthier has a chance when it comes out. I
Yeah.
don't know. I have to wait to put the list together and stuff.
Right.
But
Yeah.
man, that's a good game.
I like
I agree.
Distilled a fair bit, but it never was in my top 100. And Too Many Bones basically is now getting replaced by 20 Strong. 20 Strong is in my top
Really?
100. Yeah, I'm going for the quicker.
You get the feeling without
yeah.
the investment.
Right.
Yeah.
But I spent a lot of time in Too Many Bones, right? I mean, I'll still play it. It's just not in my top 100.
St. Malo dropped off my list a while ago. It's a good roll and write, but it is a very slow. It's like definitely roll and write, grand data at this point. It brought in a lot of interesting things, but we've moved past where this was at. Now, most roll and writes have players take simultaneous turns.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that we do now that this didn't do back then.
True.
Spark Riders 3000, I can't find on my list here. I don't think it would have made my top 150, I guess, but I still really like it. I saw one I was going to ask about. Can you scroll up a little bit, Chris? There was something that... Oh, how long does it take us to do it? Do you guys know off the top of your head? Because I know for me, it was 2.5 hours.
Let's say it's several hours, yeah.
I mean, that was...
I leave it and think about it and sort of mess with it for a few days. Mm-hmm. Because I did not do Pub Meeple this time.
Yeah, I did.
I looked for an app where you could dump in a bunch of data and then drag things and reposition them, and I settled on some iPhone app called like Rankify or something. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
But that's what I did. I put in a bunch of old stuff, a bunch of the new stuff, and just would go through it every few hours. I'd be like at home, in bed, like before I go to sleep, I pull out my phone and I go through the list and I'm like, ooh, that's too low. Drag it towards the top somewhere. And then I'll massage that and then, oh, that's too high. Drag that back. That's kind of how I did it. So it took me several days.
Yeah.
But I did a different thing.
Someone asked there, did anyone have a roll and write in any of our lists?
Oh, boy.
I don't know. I'd have to
I
look.
had one.
Oh, did I have Let's
I
Make a
Flip
Bus
Town.
Route? I might have had Let's Make a
You
Bus
did have
Route.
Let's Make a Bus Route. I had Flip Town. I know that.
Yeah, I like that one. I
I
don't
thought
know if I
Bloody
did.
Inn was still on my list. Z said it fell off his. I thought it was still on my. Oh, I can.
No, you
I
definitely
can look.
talked about Bloody Inn.
I did, right? Yeah.
How close was Finspan for me? It was actually on my list, Finspan. So you should check that out.
That was like Wingspan combined, right?
Yeah.
Kinda.
And Wingspan fell off my list, and I think it's because I kind of need to see where things are going to settle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a tough one,
It
right?
really is. It's like I probably like Wormspan and I definitely like Finspan more, but it doesn't mean that I don't still really like.
Right.
You know, it's just I
Yeah.
feel like I really need to kind of negotiate that in my brain before.
Yeah.
It was too soon this year. Honestly, I was like, okay, I'm going to remove this from contention, and I'm going to think about where it falls.
Yeah, for me, we had just done the Finspan review.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, like so did everybody else, that we like Finspan more than Wingspan.
Yes.
As of right now, right?
Right.
So I'm like, well, then why am I putting Wingspan on my list and not Finspan?
Right.
I'm going to go with my gut on this one.
By the way, I haven't played. There's some games we haven't played. There's at least 2 games since I put the top 100 together that I would consider putting on the list that I played recently.
Oh, I know.
And that's going to continue to keep happening, right, as time goes by. And who knows? Things will change. Sometimes a game shoots up for me. Sometimes it doesn't.
I have a prediction that a game you've played since this list was started is going to be in your top 20 next year.
That's pretty high.
It's going to be in your top 20. I think so. Unless you do it don't do it despite me.
No. First of all, I'll forget.
If you do what you said you were going to try to do, I see it being in your top 20.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we'll find out on tomorrow morning.
Yes.
So, a couple things. First of all, people are like, well, what about this game, this game, this game? Hey, guess what? There's a good chance. I shouldn't say good chance. We'll just guarantee that at some point this year, you're going to see 4 more top 100 lists from the rest of the crew.
And someone was mentioning the no love for Phil Walker Harding. Well, buckle up, because you'll see it in some other lists.
I'll be sitting in the background when Chris and Wendy talk. Be like,
Put it on the list.
Put it on the list.
You might want to get one of those, so you don't have to write it. Like when people are entering a bus or something.
You're going to see Graham's top 100 this year, and he has a very
many Canadian games.
I don't think
it's going to be mousse on mousse, maple syrup.
Yeah, Graham is a bit of a wild card. He likes heavy Euros, but he also likes these weird little outliers too. So.
I can't wait to watch that one. That'll be interesting.
So that's all coming. But right now we're gonna drop off this video, and we'll be back in 3 hours at 6 o'clock for the marathon on the way out. When I say we, I am not including Mike DeLisio.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll be at the airport or on the way at that time, but I'll be with all of you in spirit, and I hope that it turns out as great as it has been in the past. I've really enjoyed being a part of those things. They're just silly fun.
And he's coming back for the 36-hour marathon. We've reached that stretch
goal,
and you'll see him at various other points because this year we're having 3 spectaculars: spring, summer, and winter spectacular.
Yep.
And of course, if you're going to Dice Tower West,
conventions,
Mike will be there.
Oh, I'll be there. You better
I'll
believe
be
that.
there for
and I usually end up coming down. I don't know. I'm here almost every month.
A lot,
honestly.
Yeah.
So
a lot. The people at the airport wave and like, Mike!
They do. TSA, they don't even take a second glance at me anymore.
That's how we get away with so much.
Absolutely.
We've been smuggling board game insides, not the boxes, just the insides.
Yeah, I absolutely got my bag pulled over again. I don't know why it is.
Really?
It seems like every so
You
often.
look slick. You look like a guy who would smuggle stuff.
I do.
They're
I
like,
look
oh, this fine
look like a
Italiano
made man.
man.
Yeah, it's
what
like,
it
what
is.
is this Johnny Bag of Donuts over here? Let's pull his bag.
Alrighty, folks. Well, until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Z Garcia.
And I'm Mike DeLisio.
See y'all next time.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video on the Dice Tower. Hey, do you want to know what's going on with Dice Tower? Do you want to know about our events, our cruises, special things that we're going to do live here in the Dice Tower? Subscribe to Dice Tower Digest. Go to DicetowerDigest.com. It's a newsletter that we send out bi-weekly. We won't use your email for anything else. This is just to get you some information about the Dice Tower so you'll be up to date. Thanks for watching.